Got this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's so big. He's so hot. Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him. Coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals, hyenas, they're barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is.
Hello, happy Saturday, friends. Happy Saturday. I have to apologize for being so late. Good morning, Magnolia. And anyone else who's joined, I'm a little bit late, so I'm not sure how many are going to join us today, but that's okay. I have a lot of stuff that I've been pulling from the post-assassination attempt on Trump, and I've had such a crazy, I had 3 days last week where I had to work at either midnight or 3 a.m. and start my day super early. So I haven't had a lot of time to pull it together. And that's why I was rushing this morning to get that before we started. And I wanted to make sure everything was organized. But I hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. I have a lot of things to share, and I feel like I want to do that together with the friends and have you guys comment on things that maybe you found and share things that I have found. There's a lot going on with around this attempted assassination with Trump, and I wanted to talk about some of the things that are maybe things we have to just be careful of. There's a lot of information going on around out there, and I wanted to cover that. But, you know, before we do, I think it's definitely worthy of sharing the most iconic pictures that we will never ever forget. And this is definitely one of them. What a day last week. Who knew last Saturday when we were laughing about some of the memes and getting those rated that this would happen? Good morning, Deplorable Mike. It's good to see you. Oh, Magnolia, you're so sweet. Magnolia says, thanks for all you do in your preparation. Yeah. I try. I'm not the best at it, but we'll get better as time goes on. I still feel like it's so new, but we're trying. But this image is going to just go down in history. It's so iconic. And the other one too, this one, it's just, I don't think we'll ever forget 50 years from now when I'm no longer here. You know, this picture will just go down in history. So it's very sad. Very sad what happened. But I do want to get into several things. I tried to organize some of my thoughts, but I had to. Oh, here's another one. I don't know if you guys saw this one. Oh, shoot. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, no. Where is it? I want to show you guys because this other picture was incredible. This one. Did you guys see this picture? I didn't post it yet, but definitely some iconic pictures that we will never forget. So, Herbie, hello. Thanks for joining us. Are you still celebrating your birthday? Herbie had a birthday this week. So, are you still celebrating this weekend? I hope so. I hope you are. Anyway, so yeah, so that shoe item, and now I lost all my bookmarks. Hang on, I'm going to go back to my bookmarks. That's definitely an iconic picture as well. So I'm going to start with just a couple of reactions and statements. The first statement I just want to cover is Melania. She had such a beautiful letter, and Trump said at the RNC that they should make it a part of their platform as her letter. So I wanted to go through this on the 14th, the day after the shooting. She says, "I'm thinking of you now, my fellow Americans. We have always been a unique union. America, the fabric of our gentle nation, is tattered, but our courage and common sense must ascend and bring us back together as one. When I watched that violent bullet strike my husband, Donald, I realized my life and Barron's life were on the brink of devastating change. I'm grateful for the brave Secret Service agents and law enforcement officials who risked their own lives to protect my husband. To the families of the innocent victims who are now suffering from this heinous act, I humbly offer my sincerest sympathy. Your need to summon your inner strength for such a terrible reason saddens me. A monster who recognized my husband as an inhuman political machine attempted to wring out Donald's passion, his laughter, ingenuity, love of music, and inspiration. The core facets of my husband's life, his human side, were buried below the political machine." I think it's interesting she calls it a political machine because it's very true. Donald, the generous and caring man who I've been with through the best of times and the worst of times. Let us not forget that differing opinions, policy, and political games are inferior to love. Our personal, structural, and life commitment until death is at serious risk. Political concepts are simple when compared to us human beings. We are all humans, and fundamentally, instinctively, we want to help one another. American politics are only one vehicle that can uplift our communities. Love, compassion, kindness, and empathy are necessities. And let us remember that when the time comes to look beyond the left and the right, beyond the red and the blue, we all come from families with the passion to fight for a better life together while we are here in this earthly realm. Dawn is here again. Let us reunite now. The morning, ascend above the hate, the vitriol, the simple-minded ideas that ignite violence. We all want a world where respect is paramount, family is first, and love transcends. We can realize this world again. Each of us must demand to get it back. That is very true. We have to demand it. It's up to us. We must insist that respect fills the cornerstone of our relationships again. I'm thinking of you, my fellow Americans. The winds of change have arrived. For those of you who cry in support, I thank you. I commend those of you who have reached out beyond the political divide. Thank you for remembering that every single politician is a man or a woman with a loving family. This is such a great reminder, Melania, bringing us together. How beautiful is that? There's definitely a change. Don't you feel like there's a change in the mood and the feeling and just the atmosphere of the whole political landscape? Yeah, I think it's I think it's incredible. That was an incredible letter. And Trump even said he wants to switch the conversation to be having us unite. And he talked about that at his speech, which I'm not going to show his speech. I did some clips of it. I got through about 3/4 of it before my energy gave way and I had to log off. But that was a great speech. The other, let me see if I can find. Yeah, J.D. Vance also put out a statement. Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it and I wasn't sharing it. So J.D. Vance posted this on the same day that the assassination attempt happened. And MSM is complaining and saying that apparently Trump has had rhetoric for years and now we're suddenly complaining about the left's rhetoric. Yes, we are. We've been complaining about it for quite a long time. And they've been just nasty in how they talk about Trump. And anyway, I won't go on about that, but I posted the video that has a montage of them calling for violence against Trump. You know, we had so many people, even Biden, saying, I want to take him backstage and punch him, and calling for violence, telling Antifa to get out there and go against Trump, find Republicans in restaurants and attack them. So, yes, there definitely has been that rhetoric. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you feel like some of that rhetoric caused this, or do we feel like there was more of a plan behind it? For me, yes, I think rhetoric can make crazy people go crazy. But at the same time, these people are sick. Like, they're panicked about Trump becoming president. What is up with that? What is up with the panic? It's just kind of crazy. So, but I've got a lot to dig in here with, oh, actually, before I do, there's one interesting post comparing the attempted assassination to JFK. We definitely had a JFK day. The only difference between the JFK assassination and Trump's attempted assassination is that Trump turned his head. That's it. That is very true. I feel like they're so related. Let's see. We've got, oh, Carrie joined us too. And we've got Craig. And we've got Billy's 3. And I'm not sure if I missed anybody else that is in chat. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, X, sorry, just know that most of our chat is happening on Rumble. So if you want to join us on Rumble, you can join us at QWP's Rumble and go to the live tab and you'll find the show. But yeah, the JFK, the similarities to JFK are pretty incredible. And before I get into some of the evidence, well, maybe I'll show that last. I'm trying to think of what I want to show first because there's so much. Yeah, maybe. So I've got the some of the stuff that's related to prophecies and whatnot. So I think we'll cover that last because this was a miracle, and I'd like to end it on a high note because it definitely was a miracle. So, that being said, I am going to start with the security. Well, maybe I'll start with the shooter, actually, talking about the shooter, Thomas Crook. So, one of the things that he did was a Crooks. Isn't that crazy? That's his last name. Like, Crook? Like a crook? Crooks? Anyway, but apparently he previously wrote that July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds on gaming community. So apparently he was a gamer. We're finding out more about him and what he did leading up to the shooting. There's some crazy things that even mainstream media, who usually fact checks everybody, like we need to start fact checking them. They claim that he went to Home Depot and bought a 5-foot ladder, but uh, like, what would you do with a 5-foot ladder? You can't get on top of a building with a 5-foot ladder. So I don't know. I don't know why they were doing that. Speaking of ladder, actually, the Gateway Pundit, even they had an article where they were talking about Trump, and they showed an interesting picture before I get back to Thomas and who he was. But apparently he was a gamer, so I'm gonna just quick on the Gateway Pundit, they had this article where they show a picture of a ladder, and they said notably the ladder is laying down on the loading bay rails. So if I zoom into this picture, this is a picture of the building. And right in the back there, there's this tall ladder. You see that? And if you want to know what article that's from, it's from Gateway Pundit called Trump Assassination Attempt, Crook's Impossible Path to the Roof. Yeah, it's just incredible. That there was just a ladder sitting out there after the fact, even. So, how many ladders do they have sitting outside? Wouldn't you think the Secret Service, if they saw, like, wouldn't they take a walk around the grounds and make sure there weren't any ladders around any buildings, make sure there was a person on top of every building? And I know the Secret Service talked about how the local law enforcement was responsible, but wouldn't the Secret Service be the ones to walk the grounds and make sure and coordinate, make sure there was the right people in the right places? Like, shouldn't they have been accountable for that and responsible, regardless if the local police is helping them out? They're still ultimately responsible for the president's safety. So I digress. We'll get to security in just a minute. But what I want to do is go back to Thomas and just talk about him a little bit. So let's see. Shooter. Okay. So it's being reported that the shooter searched online. So now that they've been able to unlock his phone and start searching, we have some information coming out, but I bet there's a lot that's not come out yet about him. But basically, he searched online about the Michigan school shooter, explosives, and that kind of stuff. So they did find explosive material, and different things like that. So he actually had on him, he had a cell phone, a transmitter, and they also found explosives. But where's that picture? Oh, okay, they don't have the picture here, but oh, here it is. Here it is. It's in this video. So yeah, so they found this transmitter. So he was obviously looking uh, looking for information on how to build bombs. He had this transmitter. There was somebody on X who was a bomb specialist that said that the materials he had were actually very dangerous. The MSM was downplaying it, like that he had firecrackers or stuff like that, stuff to make firecrackers, but it was actually bomb making material and the same material that Timothy McVeigh used in the Oklahoma bombings. So not as much, but still, it was pretty powerful stuff that he had. And I know a lot of people are questioning, like, where did this guy come from? They interviewed neighbors and stuff like that, or ex-high school people that said he was a loner. But there were conflicting reports. This is why I'm not even going to show those, because I don't even know if those people were just either looking for camera attention or intentionally were put out there or something like that, because there were these people that went on camera to say that, you know, he was a loner, he kept to himself, and he was bullied. But there were other people that said he was just quiet, but he had a small group of friends and he was friendly and he was never bullied. So who knows what to believe? And I think that kind of stuff just needs to come out from people who actually know him, rather than trying to play clips from people we don't even know who they are. So I'm not even going to play those. But I will say this, there's a lot of shill stuff going on. There are people that were claiming to be the shooter. And there are people putting out pictures of other people saying this is the shooter, or this is who we think really did the shooting. And I think we have to just be careful about that. And I'm going to put my screen away because I want to make sure I show you the right thing here. Because I have a few things that are related to... Okay, so one of the things... I'm going to pause this video and I'll re-show it. So one of the things people claimed, which was wrong, was that this person who was ranting and raving at a Arizona university is Thomas Cook. And so let me pull up this video.
Slash his throat! Every fucking Republican! Suck my fucking balls!
Say that one more time.
Slash Republican throat! Slash fascist throat! Get the fascist!
So that happened. This guy is going crazy, saying to slash Republicans' throats and all of that. But this happened at a Arizona university like 4 years ago. And Thomas was in high school at the time. So this wasn't him. And some people were claiming that it was him. And then there was another guy. Let me find him. Let me see where I've got this bookmarked here. Another guy that is fake. Whoopsie. Oh my goodness. Here, I've got his video right here actually. So I'll remove this. And this guy went online and tried to claim he was Thomas Crooks and that they had the wrong guy.
My name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans. I hate Trump. And guess what? You got the wrong guy.
I don't know if people are just looking for attention or purposely putting something out there so that people will share it and just create that fog of war kind of thing. And then I think there was another another picture going around saying that another person who was accused of threatening Trump in the past was involved in the shooting, and there was just like there's nothing there, so you know. I think we just have to be careful, use our discernment. Oh, yeah, I let me see where I posted this. Okay. Sorry, I've got a ton of bookmarks and I put this in the wrong spot, so I'm going to pull it up. Oh, okay. No, I'm not. I had a picture, but I don't know where it went. That's okay. Anyway, so I'm going to pull up and share my screen again. There was also a report of a woman behind Trump that she had her cell phone and that she was acting very calm, and they said she was a FX or an FBI agent or something like that. So that was reported. Woman behind Donald Trump during shooting comes under scrutiny, and they show her. I don't know if, yeah, they do. So
watch this shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this.
If you want to
puts the sign up.
Something that said, "Take a look at what happened."
Shots go off.
She's completely normal, and then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck?
okay, so she had her phone, so people are suspicious because she pulled her phone out. But if you look at other angles, like everybody did, everybody pulled their phone out. Also, when they did a side-by-side comparison, actually, I think maybe I'm going to pull something up because I think Pepe posted a side-by-side comparison, and yeah, he did. So I'm just going to quick go there because they don't even look alike. Oh, shoot, you can't see it. Oh, yes, you can. Okay, so they don't even look alike. They have different bone structure, and like the woman on the right is the FBI agent. The one on the left is in the crowd. The one on the left has a skinnier throat and a different shape of her face, even her chin and everything. So I just want you guys to be careful what people are posting, and let's just try to stick with the things that we can definitely point to as actual things to be looking at and questioning. So back to Thomas. There was a really odd video posted. I don't know if he did this at school or when he was in college, but he's definitely an odd cookie. And I want to talk about odd cookies after we finish talking about him, because there was a very interesting article put out there about how some of this could potentially have been planned.
6'4". I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch penis and 6'4". I go to Stanford University.
Crazy, right? Is that crazy? That was a video of him, and he was joking around, saying that he I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it. So another thing about him in talking about his what he was doing to plan it is apparently he had a drone flying around the area to get aerial footage of the fairgrounds before Trump was set to speak. How does law enforcement know that? Was that footage must have been on his phone, right? And a lot of the media is reporting that the law enforcement didn't have drones and Secret Service didn't have drones, but would they tell us if they did? I wonder if they didn't. I bet they had drones. But the question is then, why wasn't this guy stopped sooner? But apparently this guy had a drone too. Do you think this kid who is just, what was he, 20, 21, could have done all that planning on his own, figured out how to make a bomb? By the way, it was, I don't know, I think more information is going to come out, but apparently they haven't been able to find where he searched for how to make a bomb or anything like that. So you can't just think that up in your head. And how would you plan this being that young all on your own? I don't think you could. I really don't think you could. The other thing about this guy is they're looking to see what these accounts were, but I'm just going to pause this a second. Apparently, according to Mike Walls, he had 3 encrypted accounts overseas. So that's really interesting. And I want to play this, and let's listen to Waltz.
I mean, I just talked to one of the agents a few hours ago. I talked to some Sunday. The agents are pissed. They're frustrated. They've repeatedly asked for resources. Donald Trump isn't your normal average former president. He's not Jimmy Carter sitting in the old folks' home. And oh, by the way, some other things are coming out, like the shooter had 3 encrypted accounts overseas.
3 encrypted accounts overseas. The other interesting thing that he mentions at the very beginning of this video is that Secret Service agents were frustrated. And if you watch Trump's speech, he actually thanked the Secret Service for how quickly they acted. And I do think they tried. And I know we've been making fun of like DEI and the women and stuff like that, but at the same time, like the Secret Service agents that were there, it's not their fault that if they were understaffed or if the planning was bad. They did. I watched the video over and over and over again. I can show it again for you guys. They immediately jumped on that stage. Immediately. So, but this kid had 3 encrypted accounts overseas. I want to know what those are. That's super crazy to me. And if that's the case, that means there is a much bigger planning going on than what we can even imagine. And he's just the one to point to, look here, not there, kind of thing, maybe. I'm not sure. So just him saying July 13th will be my premiere, watch as it unfolds to his gaming community. That's just kind of crazy. All right. So then his dad came out, and his father and his mother are both. So here's where we start getting into conspiracy theories. His mom and dad are both behavioral. I don't know if they're psychologists or counselors or something like that. Coincidentally, they happen to be in that field. And Dot Connecting Anons, Melissa. So she posted that the dad came out for the first time. He was pictured here. And so he spoke to CNN right after. And he is a behavioral therapist. Okay, it's a therapist. So they haven't been speaking publicly. But here's one thing that I posted about his dad. So not only is his dad a therapist, but he also claimed to have that day was not a very big deal, that his son happened to as he sometimes does, say he's going to go to the shooting range and can he borrow his gun, and it wasn't suspicious because his son always would go to the shooting range, that kind of thing. So he let him borrow his gun. But then reports after this is his family actually called the police that morning to report their son missing before the shooting. So it's confusing. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but let's watch this video real quick.
We have just learned that the Trump rally shooter Thomas Crook's parents were looking for him in the hours leading up to the shooting. We're now told they eventually called law enforcement to report that Crooks was missing, and they were worried. And they also were told, those parents are now being cooperative now with authorities, but they gave them the heads up that something's going on with our son. We are worried. We don't know the texture or the details of their concern.
So I find that kind of strange that we had those two accounts, and I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what to think about his parents. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, that's right, Herbie. That kid definitely couldn't do it on his own. It's so true. And that transmitter, Carrie, I'm just getting caught up on chat. That transmitter was like a remote control to detonate explosive. So that's, I think, what that was going to be used for. So anyway, let me get back to some of the other clips that I have here. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to think of his family, and I think a lot more is going to come out on that. I think it would be interesting to find out more from his friends and neighbors. There was one neighbor here. I do have a clip from a neighbor. Let's see. Yeah, I'll play that real quick.
What was he like?
He would just avidly walk the neighborhood, and he always had on like Beat-style headphones, and kind of seems like your average American dorky young man.
Yeah, just kind of an average dorky young man. So I think a lot more is going to come out on him as we learn more, but I'm just going to pull this up quick before I get to the next thing. They found improvised bombs in his car. So, and this, Carrie, kind of speaks to that device that he had for a transmitter. So he had a transmitter, and they did find improvised bombs in his car. So he had bigger plans than just shooting. And who knows what that was. Apparently, what I'm hearing also are reports that he was researching the DNC as well. I don't know. I really don't know. But I am going to move on from the shooter. It's going to be interesting to learn more about him and what was going on there. All right, so I want to get into the security, but I think I want to talk about some unhinged folks. We've got oh my goodness. I've got some videos that I want to bring up related to the left being crazy. All right. So, oh my goodness. I'm going to play this video, but this is, I want to share Grok. So on X, you know, when you use Grok, you can choose to use like just a normal news reporting, or you can have the funny Grok. So I'm going to show the funny Grok, and then we'll show Joy Behar, how crazy she is after that. I wonder if I've got, I know I uploaded it. Sorry, I'm just getting, just need to pull that up. Well, I'll just pull it up from Twitter then. I don't know where it went. But Joy, okay, Grok says Joy Behar appointed Pope in surprise Vatican ceremony. But here's what she really did. And I'm just going to bring this up. She is nuts. She doesn't like that that Trump is giving all the glory to God.
I want to point out one thing. I'm speaking to fellow Christians. I was raised Catholic. I'm a Christian girl. When something like this happens to you, like this assassination attempt, and you say something like God was watching me, that is a very unchristian thing to say, because it's very narcissistic. What about Corey, what's his name? Comparatore, the fireman who also got killed.
I don't know. I think some Christians.
What about all those guys who got killed on Sandy Hook? All of those people. Yeah. It's, oh, God was watching me and not watching them. There's something very disturbing.
God should have pulled the plug on that mic yesterday.
You know, it's, she drives me nuts. It's disturbing that Trump thanked God and gave the glory to God. Isn't that crazy? Isn't she crazy? She's not the only one that's a little bit unhinged. AOC too. I've got 2 clips from AOC, and I just can't even believe she's saying this less than a week after this happened. Same with Joy Behar, like evil. That's just super evil. But let's listen to AOC.
Donald Trump is also very old and a racist and a neo-Nazi. But anyways, I'm not even going to talk about Trump right now.
He's very old and a neo-Nazi, but she had more to say.
Is that everybody is terrified of a Trump presidency. And everybody wants to do everything and anything possible to prevent that from happening. And I think that regardless of your position on that, I think an overwhelming amount of people are motivated by that.
Really interesting. She says that a lot of people are panicking at the thought of another Trump presidency, and they would do anything to stop it. Is that not crazy and incredible that she even said that? She admitted it. I found that to be very interesting. All right, I've got more. But wait, there's more. Oh, if I can get back to my live stream folder here. All right, so MSM is just a little bit crazy. the all right, I'll pull my screen back up. All right, so the MSM is actually vile. I'm just going to read this tweet. A guest on GB News from the Daily Mail attacks Trump for his reaction to the assassination attempt and claims it shows he's not good in a crisis. So let's find out why. Let's listen to her because she's just crazy.
To have allowed himself to be bundled in the car, keep everyone around him safe, and then do a press conference afterwards saying, you know, keep fighting the good fight, or whatever political point he wants to make. I mean, it really shows what he's like in a crisis, and I guess he can't change his personality in that split second, but I mean, it wasn't the right point to make at that moment. And it was, I mean, of course, it's an iconic image, but it's also given rise to a bit of conspiracy, because some people are saying...
So basically, she's saying because he stopped the Secret Service and did his fist pump, that was irresponsible. You know, he can't win. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what he does. He just can't win with some of these people. But in a shocking twist of fate, Mark Zuckerberg actually called him a badass.
I've done some stuff personally in the past. I'm not planning on doing that this time. And that includes, you know, not endorsing either of the candidates. Now, look, I mean, there's obviously a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. I mean, the historic events over the last, like over the weekend. And I mean, on a personal note, it's, you know, I mean, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But
shocking coming from him, considering Trump said he should be in jail for his Zuckerbucks. Oh my goodness. Yes. And more on MSM before we get into the security and some of the evidence. New York Times posted this, that few lawmakers called for tougher gun laws after the Trump shooting. Of course, that's what they wanted. They wanted a cry out for tougher gun laws because, you know, what was it? Rahm Emanuel said to Obama, never let a good crisis go to waste. Yeah. So New York Times is on there. And then we have this guy who wrote an article for Forbes magazine. And I'm just going to pull up the guy's profile first, and then we're going to look at the article that he wrote that ended up getting deleted. All right. This guy, Sean Harper. Oh, look at him. He's a DEI expert. He's USC Race and Equity Center founder. And also a Forbes contributor. Why is beyond me. Why he's a Forbes contributor is beyond me. Shall we see his deleted article? Because the internet lasts forever. Let's have a look, see at what he posted and deleted. So let's see if it loads. Haha. Here's what he wrote. He is saying that Trump is going to use the attempted assassination to appeal to Black voters. And it was deleted almost as soon as it was put up because of the outcry. And let's see if I can see what date he posted this the same day that that it happened. It was July 13th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So it was just hours after the shooting. And he goes on and on about how, oh, shoot. Darn it. You know, you gotta love paywalls. That's okay. We'll just pull up his little profile and have a little chat about him. So he went on and talked about how Trump will take advantage of what happened to him and will, that he might assume that it will appeal to black voters. And if that's not one of the most racist things to say and accuse Trump of, he's kind of racist in his accusation of saying that Trump's going to use racist tactics. And it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, Forbes deleted that right away. And I don't know if you guys saw that. So I thought I would share because we have to call these people out and expose their shenanigans. But that is all I have on the shenanigans, because I really don't want to spend too much time because MSM is crazy. They've been fact checking all kinds of stuff, and it's pretty amazing that they're not I haven't seen, maybe I need to look harder, but I have not seen them fact checking some of this crazy stuff that's been going on out there. Anyway, and some good news before we get into the evidence is Pennsylvania House Republicans are going to introduce legislation to investigate the assassination attempt. This is at the state level, so I think that is pretty darn cool. I love that they're doing that, that they're going to do that. And other is Elon Musk, after the shooting, fully endorses Donald Trump, fully endorses him. So I think that's pretty awesome too. Actually, this is a good example. In this clip, see this gal in pink? She's got her phone out, same thing. You know, he's up fist pumping, she's playing her phone. I actually have a few different angles where you can see other people pull out their phone. There's something happening. It's natural for some people. Probably not for me because I don't use my phone very often. So it would probably take me a long time to pull my phone out, but that's what people do these days. First thing they do is flip out their phone. Anyway, Elon Musk, he supports Donald Trump. And Donald Trump said I shouldn't be here. Actually, I do want to I will post one clip, I think, from oh, where is it? I want to post this because Donald Trump at his let me find it in my feed here. When he did his speech at the RNC, he said that I shouldn't be here, and the crowd was, you know, going a little bit wild and disagreeing with him, I should say. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I'm going to save this and upload it. I love this video. All right, let me play this video real quick.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. Yeah.
So they're chanting.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Pretty incredible moment at the RNC. So yeah, Herbie, he couldn't do it on his own, that's for sure. And the MK Ultra, yes. Let's see. Who are you talking about, Carrie? Carrie, you're talking about the doctrine of providence? I don't know who you're talking about. But let me know. And then we'll chat about that. So yes, I know MK Ultra. I have a question on that. I wonder about that. Where's my MK Ultra thing? Oh, that's what it was. It was the okay, so Praying Medic posted this, a link to this. I have to give him credit. And it's really intriguing. So let's talk about this and then let's go through some of the things that have been found. So this is on Muckraker. Excellent article. 1953 CIA assassination manual and the attempt on Trump's life. So my question is MK Ultra or something else? Because it's not like, you know, the media is trying to paint Thomas Crooks as a lone gunman who just went a little crazy. And yet there's so much evidence that he could not have done this on his own, which we're going to look at. We saw the ladder. He had a drone and did drone footage, was able to create bombs that are known in that community as very dangerous. So there's a lot going on. And so Praying Medic, excellent post by him, excellent find on this. I don't know when this was posted, if it was recently or if it was old. It's probably been a while, but no, it hasn't been a while because it's about talking about the attempt on Trump's life. So this Muckraker article goes through some of what the CIA has documented back in 1953 about how to do professional assassinations, how to plan them, how it works, and all of that. So it's a long article, so I won't read through all of it. But the document is called A Study of Assassination. And it helps highlight the involvement of the intelligence agencies in political killings. It's pretty interesting. All right, so I want to go down. I want to go past that. Yeah. So I'm actually going to start at the bottom here. So basically, they talk about the alleged perpetrator was initially allowed onto the event grounds with a rangefinder and returned to the site with a backpack shortly after disappearing from the grounds. So this guy was reported as being suspicious. I have a video actually, reported as being suspicious walking around the grounds, looking up at the roof of the building. And I'm just going to look and see if I can find that video real quick while we look at this article because it's incredible. That's the video. I am not sure what's going on with my videos. That's kind of strange. It seems strange sometimes with some of these. I might have to find it in my... Well, I'm not going to take too much time on this, but basically he was eyed walking around, and I will show the photo really quick, and go back to this. Yeah, he was found walking around, and the Secret Service even took a picture of him. You saw this picture going around. So yeah, he was found walking around the grounds too. There's a video of him looking up at the roof, and somebody had reported that there was a suspicious person. Why they didn't just immediately go after him is very curious. All right. And then somehow he brought a large ladder. I don't think he brought it. I think one was set out. And that picture from the Gateway Pundit kind of could be circumstantial evidence of that. Yeah, they had a large security fence. So how would he be able to carry everything plus like a 10-foot ladder and get it over the fence without arousing suspicion? The crowd vocally notified law enforcement. There were a lot of witnesses that said they were pointing to him, pointing him out to officers, and it's just crazy how all of this happened. And they said in spite of having his rifle visible, and they failed to engage with the shooter until after shots were fired. So there were a lot of eyewitness accounts. All right. So part of what is documented here as far as the CIA's planned assassinations is it talks about methods and strategies for killing political targets. Techniques considered range from hand-to-hand combat, blah, 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 explosives, automobile accidents. We already know about plane crashes and that kind of stuff. All right, so the preferred method is the use of different firearms at various ranges. The document says that public figures or guarded officials may be killed with great reliability and some safety if a firing point can be established prior to an official occasion. So that means if they can plan it out, they know where the politician's going to be, it's very reliable for them to be able to plan a shooting. And advises that the subversion of a unit of official guard at the ceremony, so to subvert all the protections that are in place. Close scrutiny of the conduct of the Secret Service and law enforcement agents charged with protecting Trump strongly suggest that the assassination attempt may, in fact, have involved such subversion. After we see everything that happened that day, it definitely does. I highly recommend you all read this article. Very informative. I will post it after the show, but it's incredible. It's incredible. Great find. All right, so continuing on. My bookmark's closed, so I have to apologize to you guys. Whoops. On the wrong thing here. But actually, that was an accident that I pulled this up. But the Muckraker article talking about the CIA and how they can do assassinations using guns as their preferred method for a shooting. This comparison of JFK and Trump actually is super incredible if you think about that. Super incredible. All right, moving on. So let's get to some of the potential evidence of planning and the security that was all the security shenanigans that happened. I have a lot of things to break down, but one of the things that we just talked about was the potential lack of drones. But one of the other security flaws, which this one shocks me because with all the call for police officers to have body cams, you would think that that would be a standard for any type of security that's protecting our president. But Tom Fitton, bless his heart, he is like a true American hero. I have to tell you, man. From Judicial Watch, found information that deputies did not wear body cams. Why? Why would they not have worn body cams? It's a question. And a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about here is just raises more questions. We have questions and we get answers, and those answers raise more questions. All right, let's see. They did talk about, you know, permanent detail, how both Biden and Kamala needed Secret Service services that same day at the exact same time, and Kamala just happened to be in Pennsylvania, and apparently they diverted some of the Secret Service to protect Kamala, and so it's being reported here that there was only one permanent agent that usually travels with Trump that was there that day, and that the others were brought in like last minute as temporaries. So Jill Biden also had resources. So it sounds like everybody, like they were spread thin, but I don't understand that because they have billions of dollars in their budget. Billions. So I'm not sure. So she's let's see, new info from sources in the Secret Service community. Trump's usual protective Secret Service detail was worked so hard. They worked 7 days a week with no days off that many agents assigned to Saturday were temporary replacements. All right, so I know a lot of people have been talking about the Secret Service, and there are some questions to be answered from there. Were there temporary Secret Service agents? If so, why? And that kind of thing. And were the right people in place to protect the president? For example, you know, a lot of people talked about the women that were a part of the Secret Service group that there was one woman in particular that that was a part of the team that had to jump on Trump and protect him. And she wasn't even, she was a lot shorter than him and couldn't really jump on him to protect him, which is not her fault, but still, she was one of the ones that were right there to protect him. I will say they did jump hard, and I know he appreciates the Secret Service who were there. But I don't know. I just don't know. The other thing, as far as security, the Secret Service did brief the senators, but apparently they were only allowed to ask a couple of questions, and but didn't give any explanations for anything. So Ted Cruz talked about that a little bit. We'll watch just a little bit of this.
Senator, you were briefed today. What did you hear?
Well, it was utterly maddening. We had a briefing with all 100 senators and with the head of the Secret Service and also the head of the FBI. It was a 45-minute briefing. They spent 30 minutes just filibustering. walking through all the different things they did that day, walking through a detailed timeline of every other factor of what they did in the field, what they did on the stage, what they did backstage, everything except how they didn't stop a man with a rifle from shooting the president. And
Yeah. So can you imagine no comments to Congress when they have to do a security briefing on that? They could have given them more information and kept it confidential. One thing that really shocks me is in a interview, the director of the Secret Service said that one of the reasons why they didn't have someone on the roof was because it was sloped. Sloped? I think I want to do a live real-time search on X with you guys because it is crazy. But I've got a clip of her explaining this.
We sat down with Director Kim Cheadle today for an exclusive interview.
What was your reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously, for the former president. This is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
The President and Homeland Security Secretary said today they had 100% confidence in you, but there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the Secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
You plan to stay on? Absolutely.
I do plan.
She's not going to resign. So the last time we had a big kerfuffle with the Secret Service was when Obama was president and someone got past the White House fence. And the Secret Service director at that time she wasn't going to resign, she said at first, but then she ended up having to resign. She resigned. But that was a crazy excuse from her. Very crazy. So, all right, I'm just catching up on chat. Sorry about that. So I'm sorry, the sloped roof, just it's not gonna fly. And as a matter of fact, let's do this. I'm super curious. Let's go on X. Oh, look at brand new post from Elon. Let's do let's do sloped roof, because I bet some of those awesome memes might show up. If they don't, I need to explain them to you, because there, this is what I was looking for. Oh, here's a sloped roof, and a cow happens to be able to get up there just fine. And the Secret Service, can you imagine saying that the Secret Service can't go up on a sloped roof? I mean, they're up on the White House roof. They're up on roofs all the time. That's what they do. That's what they're here for. Anyway, I just found that kind of interesting. All right. One thing I want to, Darren Beatty from Revolver News, he asked a really good question around security, is how did the shooter know that that specific rooftop would be empty and totally ignored? How would he know that? Because there were people up on the roofs on all the other buildings around. So if that isn't some more circumstantial evidence of some pre-planning and not on his own, definitely not on his own, then I don't know what is. Okay, I have to go through this stuff quick. I had no idea we were going this long, guys. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on, and I want to cover some dasting things. But let me see if I got to the ladder, and I'm not going to play this, but basically Jesse Waters reported on the U.S. authorities had intel of an Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. And the Secret Service said they knew this, and so they had beefed up his security, but every other account is saying that security was decreased. So, and they called it starved of manpower. Anyway, Jesse Waters reported on that. I don't need to play that clip. But also that the sniper team, because of the sloped roof, went inside the building to hang out with local law enforcement, and nobody noticed this guy grabbing a ladder and going up on the roof. That's crazy. The other thing is that we had that local police officer who said that he went up on the roof but fell. So he went up to investigate, and he claimed that he fell. And the sheriff says he was a hero, but actually this one is worth playing. I think we should listen to this one. I think I have this clip, but let's just listen.
One of our officers actually assisted a lift of a second Butler Township police officer up to the roof, at which time the officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building, did fall to the ground, probably an 8-foot fall, somewhere in that vicinity. Did sustain an ankle injury, but was part of the still communication that went out.
So yeah, so the guy saw the guy on the roof. I will say timing, I mean, he says he saved President Trump's life because it delayed the shooter, which actually the timing of the shooting is incredible. Trump just happened to turn his head right before he was shot. So I would agree with that part, but why would you, knowing there's a suspicious person, number one, not have a gun pulled out while you're climbing up there and ready, knowing that that could be a potential threat like that? I don't know, I don't know. But the other things, I found the pictures. One of the call outs was the Secret Service and the DEI. They did brag about focusing on diversity and hiring, and that does change things. I mean, look at what we've been talking about around Boeing and what's going on there. And not that, hey, I'm a woman. It's not that women aren't capable, but we're just different. We're wired differently. We don't have the strength. We don't have the same hormones. We don't have the same reactionary timing. We don't have the same stamina. We're different. And so that focusing on DEI instead of on safety and the best people for the job is definitely dangerous. But at the same time, people were making fun of the women here and watching the ladies at work here, blah, blah, blah. And I know she's fumbling with her gun, trying to get it in the holster. And that's super funny and stuff. But at the same time, the Secret Service did jump on Trump immediately, and we got to give him credit for that at least. And then the Secret Service was accused of delaying a little bit. I don't know what I want to show first here. So someone posted, what's going on here? Things aren't adding up. And I don't need to play the sound, but watch that Secret Service agent there talking to a photographer, which is a little sus, I have to admit. So somebody's pointing out that he was talking to the photographer. He's crouched down and directs the photographer to move away. And then gunshots ring out right at that moment, right there. The gunshots ring out, and people are questioning, why is he having them move, and why is he crouched down? And so it could be devil's advocate. He could be crouched down because he doesn't want to be in the way of the people behind him. And maybe Secret Service asks people to move all the time if they're in too much of a line of threat or in the way of the line of sight from other security people. So who knows what happened there? The only reason I say that, and I'm not super sus of it, is because then somebody also posted as a response to this that the same Secret Service agent actually laid on top of these people protecting them. And so they're questioning, why didn't he run up on stage? He jumped on people to protect them. So Herbie, you're saying he's not Secret Service? What is he? Some kind of security? Part of the campaign? I don't know. So maybe he's not Secret Service. But at the same time, there's both of those accounts. So this is why we have to like try to get more information. He's media? Really? Where did you hear that, and how do you know that? I want to know. I want to know, Herbie. You want to come on the show? So he was with the media? That's fine. So maybe that's totally another reason why it shouldn't be sus. And if he's with the media, he went and threw people to the ground and got on top of them. So good for him. All right. And then the other thing around security is that Thomas Crooks, he took out a rangefinder, which was noticed by a sniper before the rally. So that's okay, Herbie. If you don't have that detail, we can follow up and post about who he is with the media. He actually, if he's with the media, he deserves some kudos on jumping on those people. All right, so yeah, he took out a rangefinder, which I did talk about that, but also I need to go 11 minutes in on this video that I want to pull up. Oh.
Eating sandwiches?
All right. I guess I already did.
I don't under.
All right. So I'm gonna show a video real quick from YouTube because I didn't have time to download it. And this video is about 11 minutes in.
Good, post one. That's like 101 of special event posts. So what happened here? Did that happen? Did somebody get on the radio and say, hey, high building, you good on post one? No answer. Did the police go, yeah, we're good, we're eating sandwiches? I don't understand, but I will tell you this, the Secret Service model is based on multiple redundancies and layers of security so that if one fails, they've got backup, right? Everything failed. So I don't get it.
Security measures aside, there is some concern that federal and local authorities dismissed the warning signs brought up by witnesses at the rally.
They took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people.
So people warned the Secret Service and local police, various security agencies. We don't know who exactly was all there. We do know, like, sheriff, the police department, Secret Service. There were various folks. And he's right, like, they have multiple redundancies. So if one fails, the next one wouldn't. And they have to have that when they're protecting someone as high ranking as President Trump. So how could every single one of those crack? You know, wouldn't they be radioing each other, making sure people are in the right spot, that, you know, they do that check-in before Trump ever gets on stage to make sure each building that they said needed to be covered is covered? all of that, and then have people pointing him out. Just there's a lot going on there. So that's other suspicious stuff right there. Let's see. And then nope, got the wrong thing. There is some a lot of interesting things, how everything could fail at once. But one of the things I want to bring up is an interesting thought from Praying Medic. Again, is the question is, if this was planned, what would be the reason? Besides taking Trump out because they fear him, which for some reason, crazy reason, the TDS is real and it's crazy, but Praying Medic puts out another very interesting thing to ponder is, could it be that they are trying really hard to instigate a civil war? And if you think about it, they've been talking about that for a few years, putting that narrative out there. There's all these movies coming out that are related to us going into civil war, almost like predictive programming. They kept saying that things that they are doing to Trump supporters are going to cause a civil war. Like, for instance, locking up all the J6 people, the impeachments against Trump. They were predicting that we would go into civil war over that. The indictments against Trump. They were expecting us to go into civil war over that. And they admit it. They expect that. And they're putting that narrative out there that Trump supporters are extremists, that they're dangerous, they're violent. All that rhetoric not only is causing, division in our country, but it could serve a different purpose for them to get a civil war going. They really need that to happen in order to usher in some of the other agenda items that they've had for this globalist agenda to get the entire world sort of under the thumb of whatever utopia they think would be in place if they initiated a world communistic government, if you will. We're way past progressive, way past liberal, way past Marxist. I don't even know what to call it. It's not even communism. We're way past communism. It's crazy what's going on, and right out in the open. So, Praying Medic puts that out there. This is a long post, so so I won't put it. But I want to give him credit because he just says that he believes that's what the end game is. They're hoping that calling Trump supporters insurrectionists, traitors, and criminals, that they can put more punishment on us. They want a civil war to be able to do that. And I do think the reason is that bigger agenda that's going on globally. Look what's happening around the world. Not only are they're hitting from so many different angles. COVID didn't work. Impeaching Trump didn't work. Opening the border isn't working. But look what's happening in Europe. The same thing with the borders. And they were a little bit even more harsh on COVID lockdowns and that kind of thing. So, anyway, I thought that was brilliant from him. And I didn't hear that from anyone else. The other thing that I heard was that there was some short selling ahead of Trump's attempted assassination. And the company that is called Austin Private Wealth, that was accused of doing some short selling, they said it was a clerical error. So this is the site is called Austin Private Wealth. They put out some reports showing that they were short selling Donald Trump investments. And this is their statement from there. They did an SEC filing, and they said that the correct holding amount was 12 contracts or 1,200 shares instead of the 12 million that was reported. They said it was filed in error. I'm not sure what to believe on that. They did, to their credit, they did a follow-up filing on July 16th. They amended their filing, but this was July 12th. They filed this report on July 12th, and it's very sus. But they are correct. They did do the follow-up filing. The other curious thing around potential planning for this attempted assassination is that Facebook, Meta, lifted all of Trump's accounts ahead of the U.S. election. They say it's ahead of the U.S. election, but it was right before the attempted assassination. I think it might have even been the day before. I'm not sure. So, oh gosh, I gotta get, let's see. Even though Trump called for a unity during his speech, they are still claiming he is dividing. Yes, they are. It's crazy. And then they removed a put after they shouldn't have taken a huge hit. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, them removing that. Yeah. So, but this is curious, isn't it? About Meta. The timing is very crazy. Very crazy. One day before. I mean, it was reported by multiple sources. Just one day before. So, I don't know. And then Logical Brad, I have to give him credit. Where we go one, we go all. Logical Brad. You know, Brad and Abby, they're so cute. Anyway, he's the one that posted this, and so I want to give him credit on that. Anyway, so yeah, there's other signs that this was planned. The Meta short selling, the I don't know, just investment firm doing that, Meta doing that one day before. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. I think I already covered this woman behind Trump. So I'm not going, yeah, we covered that one. All right, so now what I want to cover really quick is the connection and timing of this. Really interesting that President Trump has scheduled a phone call with Zelensky. And they talked, and Zelensky congratulated him on the RNC, condemned the assassination attempt, and they had a perfectly good call, as Just Human put it, 2.0. Perfectly good call 2.0. So anyway, looking back at the first phone call that they tried to impeach Trump over, you know, they're saying there was a quid pro quo going on there, and that Trump was trying to get dirt on his rivals. But what he did was he asked Zelensky to look into the corruption going on, and asked if, there was a way to get the information off of those CrowdStrike servers, if he could look into that. And I will bring up Pepe Lives Matter. He posted a lot of this information that kind of sums it up. So if you think about it, in 2018, Trump asked where the DNC server is that Clinton and company were hiding while standing next to Putin. He called Zelensky and asked about CrowdStrike and the server that they're hiding in Ukraine. So right after the assassination attempt, Trump schedules a meeting with Zelensky. His initial meeting was to talk about CrowdStrike. And then yesterday, CrowdStrike has what they called a software bug that brought down the services around the world, not just the internet, but actual services. It happened at work. I got into work, and we have some offshore software engineers, and they're like, we have been not able to get anything completed for like 3.5 hours because systems were down and stuff like that. So we had some of our stuff at work down. The whole world, the airlines, it impacted the airlines, it impacted banks, it impacted everything. So the timing of all this stuff, we've got the assassination attempt. Trump schedules a phone call with Zelensky. His previous call talked about corruption and finding information about stuff that was the CrowdStrike servers that Trump was trying to get information on because the RNC and all of the Hillary stuff and all of that. And then blackout. The timing is crazy. The timing is crazy. And the other thing that Pepe points out here is that the shooter also has 3 encrypted accounts, which I brought up earlier in another article. So how many flags could there possibly be, he asks. And those are really good questions, really good questions. The other thing that he posted about the CrowdStrike CEO, strangely, was clearing his throat during an interview. So let's watch that really quick because this was strange.
According to your statement, it was a single content update that has managed to shut down air travel, credit card payment systems, banks, broadcasts, street lights, 911, emergency around the globe. Why is there not some kind of redundancy or some sort of backup? How is it that one single software bug can have such a profound and immediate impact?
Well, when you look at the complexity of cybersecurity, you're always trying to stay one step ahead of the adversaries. Excuse me. Man, just 1 second, please.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah, take a drink of water.
Yeah, sorry.
Sure. According to your statement.
Not only that, say what you want about Laura Loomer, but man, that girl has been pulling some info. So the president of CrowdStrike Services and the chief security officer served as executive assistant director of the FBI under Obama. Under Obama. Not only that, when you go, you can go to their website and they've got this election security resource center. So they're involved in election security as well, which is a little bit concerning. So there's a lot of dastardly things. It's all tied together with this attempted assassination on Trump. I feel like there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Imagine the chess game that's playing that we don't even see. We don't even see it. So I just wanted to call that out, but I also definitely want to call out the fact that there was some divine intervention going on here. Oh, before I get into that, here's the other thing. RFK Jr., somebody was filming him while he was talking to Trump, and it leaked out. And he apologized and said, "Oh, I should have made sure that they stopped filming or told them to stop filming before the phone call." But there is an interesting thing that Trump says on the call to RFK Jr. And so it's a very short clip. Let's watch it really quick, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
And, you know, he's interesting. It was very nice, actually. He called me, and he said, how did you choose to move to the right?
Biden asked him that question. Biden asked him, how did you choose to move to the right? What the heck? Why would Biden even ask that question? What a weird question to ask the President of the United States. That's just another thing I want to call out. It's why would he even think of that? You know, Biden, he does not hold back. Like he's not careful with his words. He just says what he's thinking. And it proves it when he referred to someone back and said, you know, if you aren't voting for me, you ain't black. He said that. Or he said they had the biggest voter fraud operation in the history of the world. Like he messes up and he sometimes lets a little truths out. But anyway, this is just a curious clip. All right. So, there was definitely divine intervention going on with President Trump. And it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Oh, and before I show that, well, I'm not even going to show this clip because he's not worth it. Do you guys know that Fauci was weighing in on this whole thing? Like, you know, just talking about how, oh, it was just a minor thing that hit his ear, but I shouldn't be speaking from afar and all of that. Fauci. Anyway, all right. Let's just talk about good versus evil. Let's just start with one. I meant to cover this when I talked about the left being unleashed. Well, there was a woman who, well, I'll let this speak for itself. There's this guy that went to rebuke this woman who works as a cashier.
Are you Darcy Waldron? Yeah?
Waldron, yeah.
Okay, from Cayuga? And you think that the shooter should have been a better shot? Is that what you posted on Facebook?
I am at work.
You think that the shooter should have been a shooter, huh?
I am at work.
Yeah, I think that's pretty messed up. Pretty anti-American, if you ask me.
There you go. Rebuke people. We're called to do that. I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys can go search and do a search on Donald Trump miracle or Donald Trump divine intervention. You will see there's a lot of talk about that. And what I find interesting is on the last show, that I did, not Me Moore's, but the one before that, I said, you know, I think I might want to start talking more about miracles that are happening. And I just smile when I see some of these stories about how this was a miracle, because I'm like, I didn't even think about this, like this being a miracle, but it was such a miracle. And I'm so thankful that he lived. You know, just think about it. If he didn't turn his head within, they say, millimeters, like you just turn your head a little bit and it would have changed the entire outcome. If that's not divine intervention, even though Trump is made fun of from the media for saying that, you know, he has to give it to God because only God would have been able to um, to do that. And here's his post actually. Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers, as it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. This was such a powerful statement right here. And the MSM has just given him a bad time against it. So what do I say? I posted a little thing about Genesis 50, saying you meant evil against me, but God means it for good. And you know what's happening here? God meaning it for good. People are seeing that there's divine intervention. They're talking about it. Unity might come from this, and people are changing their minds, realizing that they, might have been wrong about what they thought about Trump and even us, Trump's old famous statement, they're not coming after you, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in the way. That couldn't be more true than ever. Let's see what Just Human had to say. Incredible. I love this.
The realistic view here is that Trump is protected and that the Patriots protect him as much as they possibly can. But that's not the same as him being 100% protected at all times. And only God can do that for him. And guess what God did? So thanks for coming in clutch there, God. Thanks for coming in clutch, because we freaking needed it. Well,
that gives me tears. Thanks, God. Thanks, Just Human. Kyle, you're amazing. We love you. Yes. Thanks, God. That was beautiful from him and pretty incredible. So here's another cool thing is that Trump was shot at 6:11 p.m. And what is Ephesians 6:11? Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Is that not mind blowing? It's just incredible. It's another thing that points to the fact that there was some divine intervention right there. And Moxie posted this today, 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. We often suffer, but we are never crushed. Even when we don't know what to do, we will never give up. In times of trouble, God is with us, and when we are knocked down, we will get up again. So beautiful. So beautiful. All right, and just a quick, Flynn posted that despite the odds almost totally stacked against Trump, he continues to maintain his momentum and stand as a modern-day David versus Goliath. That is so true. And him just getting up and pumping that fist speaks to that. It totally speaks to that. Another thing that might inspire you is looking at Absolute Truth. They did a show about the looking glass, which is really good. You have to watch it. But he pointed out this Clement prophecy. Kim Clement, if you guys ever watch him, his daughter now kind of carries on his legacy. She doesn't prophesy, but what she does is she has a group of people she calls code breakers. She has a show on YouTube called Code Breakers, and they go through, and it's almost like when we're trying to decipher Q posts or something like that. She's got a group of people that go through Kim Clement's old prophecies from the last 30 years or longer and look at the prophecies that he did and how they line up with what's happening today. And it's pretty interesting. So this happens to be one of them. And basically what Kim said is the Spirit of the Lord says there shall be one assassination attempt. This was from 2004, by the way. This was kind of interesting. There shall be one assassination attempt that will endeavor to destroy the plans that I have for this nation. Tonight, there are major forces of darkness that have endeavored to bring to nothing this nation, but I will supply a very special weapon to this nation, which shall have the ability to see activities of the enemies in a very peculiar way. So that very peculiar way, I think, is what Paul's referring to, because they talked about Looking Glass that night. And Project Looking Glass is supposed to be a very high-tech, secure, secret project of being able to not literally look at the future, but it's like if you think about AI and the algorithms. So Looking Glass was supposed to be able to figure out every likely situation that could potentially come up in order to predict what would come in the future, which is super interesting. If you haven't researched that, it was a project from long ago and pretty incredible. And the ability to predict the future and know one of the things that was predicted out of this, that was claimed to be predicted, is a certain special outcome. Not talking about Trump anymore. I'm just talking about on a biblical scale, because God eventually wins, and apparently this has proven that, and that there is no way to prevent what greatness is going to come. A lot of people think about end times in more of a scary, negative way, but it's actually, you got to flip it. Revelation means to reveal, and Armageddon, I believe, means to take away the veil. But look into Project Looking Glass if you haven't already. But this is really intriguing. And it's interesting that Kim Clement, this was this month, 20 years ago, this month, which is pretty incredible. There was also another prediction from a prophecy back in March, and it wasn't even related to this, but I want us to listen to this.
All throughout, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming.
So he's talking about Trump. Predicted an attempted assassination that would fail, that would skim his ear, and that he would drop to the ground after that. Is that not the most incredible, accurate? Usually, when you're looking at prophecies, there might be some generalities that are very similar, but this one was like detailed, incredible. It was incredible. So this guy's name, just so you know, I've never heard of him before I saw this. His name is Brandon Biggs. I haven't dug on him to see if he's had other interesting prophecies, but he talks about Trump being born again, even though he was already religious, but he's talking about Trump becoming on fire for Jesus. And very interesting. And did you guys notice a shift in the feel of Trump, how he's been acting? Just, I feel like there's a shift that's happened since this attempted assassination, and that is just an incredible, yeah. No, he did mention the ear, Carrie. Yes, he said filled with the Spirit. But he mentioned the bullet going past his ear. Anyway, that was just incredible. So, I just have one more thing I think I want to show you. So much more information is coming out. Oh, there was one more thing about which I started pulling, but I couldn't find a lot of details. But people were showing pictures of a water tower, somebody on top of a water tower. Somebody said that was a second shooter, that there's potential evidence of a second shooter based on the trajectory of the bullets. But it could be the water tower had a Secret Service agent or a counter sniper on top of it watching things. So I'm not really suspicious of the water tower, but there is one witness that said there were shots coming from the water tower. So I think we need to look into that one more. I'm not sure what's going on with that or if there's been a lot coming out. Like I said, I had a busy week, so I haven't had a lot of time to look into that. But here's another incredible thing that happened before Trump spoke at the rally. Here's what the wind did. You know that famous flag that was behind Trump in that video or that picture? Let's check out this flag. My mind is just blown. That is the same flag that was behind Trump, up in the air behind Trump. Let me pull that picture because incredible. Yeah, let me pull that picture because I want to look at what the heck? Hang on one second, guys. Something weird is going on with my browser. So you guys know that whenever I have a show about Trump, or not Trump, a show about, spiritual warfare and stuff, that I get technical difficulties. Something strange just happened with my browser while I was trying to look this up. But see that flag behind Trump? I wish I would have pulled the other picture that shows the whole flag. But this is incredible. Oh, this video has it behind him.
To know about
There. You see that flag behind Trump? That's this flag, guys. That's this flag. Is that not incredible? What an awesome sign from God. All right. All right. I didn't know this would go this long, guys. I had a lot more to pull up and show, but I think that is a positive note to end on. I think God's hand is at work. We are witnessing we live in pretty incredible times. And I feel blessed that we're able to be a part of this and share it together, guys. I really appreciate you joining. And if you find out more, let's chat about more. I might do a thread on Telegram where we can add more evidence. I kind of want to compile all this into one place, because I feel like more is going to come and we need to cover it. So, and have it for historical purposes somewhere. Somewhere for you guys to show your grandchildren one day, or for me to share. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I apologize for being a little bit late today. Thanks for hanging in there and bearing with me this week. I do appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. See ya. Bye.
I can see clear.